Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi and Boris Johnson posed with some of the G20 leaders at the Trevi fountain. President Macron inserted himself centre stage for the photo, and coins were thrown in traditional style. The G20 countries are responsible for 80% of global carbon emissions, and their commitments and money are needed for the Glasgow COP meeting to be a success. Prince Charles came to town to urge the leaders on with stark language about what was at stake in Glasgow.
COP26 begins in Glasgow tomorrow. Quite literally, it is the last chance saloon. We must now translate fine words into still finer actions.
For some, attention strayed. Number 10's been trying to rally nations at the same time as dampening expectations that the 1.5-degree cap can be achieved in one fell swoop as the action moves from Rome to Glasgow. The Pope was reading off the same script as Prince Charles as he spoke to the faithful from the Vatican.
Oggi a Glasgow, in Scozia, comincia il vertice delle Nazioni Unite sui cambiamenti climatici, COP26. Preghiamo affinché il grido della terra e il grido dei poveri venga ascoltato, che questo incontro possa dare risposte efficaci, offrendo speranza concreta alle generazioni future.
A one-on-one meeting between Boris Johnson and President Macron touched on the fishing dispute, distracting from COP26 issues at the moment. Briefings from the two sides were contradictory, which suggests this spat is at best paused, not resolved. At the press conferences that closed this summit, some leaders emphasised the positive movement. Some insisted they weren't ready to sign on the dotted line for commitments like the 2050 net zero target.
We will reach carbon neutrality by not later than 2060. This is our calculated commitment, and we are sticking to it, and I stand to be corrected, but nobody has proven to us or to anybody else that 2050 is something which everybody must subscribe to.
We've made some progress at this G20. We've had a reasonable G20, but there is a huge way still to go. We all know that we have the technology. What we need to do now is to raise the finance, but above all, we need the political will in Glasgow to make those commitments and to keep alive the hope of restraining the growth in our temperatures to 1.5 degrees.
The final communiqué commits the G20 to stop investing in coal-fired power stations built abroad. That's something China had already signed up to. But the language doesn't go nearly far enough on domestic coal-fired power stations for some, nor on the 1.5-degree cap. This could have been a very different summit if President Trump had been re-elected. But it probably gives us a foretaste of what's going to follow in Glasgow. Some progress on climate change policies, but at nothing like the pace that scientists say is desperately needed. Gary Gibbon, Channel 4 News, at the G20 in Rome.